Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wally Mahana, and I'm the Chief Executive Officer for the Canterbury Bankstown Chamber of Commerce. The theme for the Canterbury Bankstown Chamber of Commerce during the COVID-19 crisis is how can we help? Friends, this is who we are. We are real people with real experience. Our sole focus is to be another pillar of support to you in this difficult time. Supported by like-minded people, we'll bring to you related information that could help you to adjust, change focus, diversify, and more importantly, we all get to learn for the future on how to minimize the impact and build preventive measures. Empowering by our Prime Minister and Premier comments, we are all in this together, and our goal is to get through this together. Hence, dedicating our time, adhering to social distancing, we wanted to play our essential role in helping you to stay in business in this difficult time. My friend keep telling me and reminding us all, we, Australian people, are kind, generous, dedicated, and proud of our charitable and caring attitude. Hence today and every day, it's necessary that we apply only positive attitude to deal with this and any future crisis. Let's remember, change is extremely difficult for everyone, whether it be for individual and or organizations. Today's climate has put everyone on notice, simply because no one could have anticipated the coronavirus and its impact. But we have decided not to play the blaming game, but rather step up to the challenge and work together on helping our businesses across all sectors to learn to diversify, embrace change, and keep connecting businesses as we must keep moving forward. That's how we define our future direction. Canterbury Bankstown Chamber of Commerce and our members have wealth of knowledge, and we're prepared to share it. Because business is about teamwork, employer and employee, and both need to be saved. Sample of common questions and remarks that we hear every day. What support is available to you? What I needed was to know what I could afford to not to focus on. I ended up changing from one industry to another entirely. Has your business conducted a health check recently? Now, with these questions in mind and statements, we start our conversation with our speakers this afternoon. I'd like to introduce Steve, Joe, and Jason, but I will begin with Steve. Would you please, in 30 seconds, Steve, tell us your name, your role, and your position?
Thanks, Wally. Good afternoon, and it's great to be here today to talk about the situation that we're in, and I guess introduce myself as the General Manager of Bankstown City Unity Bank, which is an Australian mutual bank based in Bankstown, but it's part of the Unity Bank Limited company, which is an Australian-wide bank. Just like all other banks, we adhere to the same guidelines as the major banks. Our focus is our members, our staff, and the community, and I guess that's why it's great to be here today to provide some reassurance about how we can help everybody through this situation and stay positive to get through to the other side of this. Thank you.
Joe?
Thank you. I'm Joe. I'm a partner at Collaborate, a management consulting firm. We're a one-stop shop for solving business problems. And I suppose with COVID-19, what we're doing is we're helping businesses to access their stimulus packages or preparing to access that through our accounting teams. Our marketing teams and graphic designers are working steadily to promote businesses that are still continuing operations, and our operations teams are helping businesses that have been shut down work on their businesses rather than work in their businesses.
Jason?
Thank you, Wally, and thank you to Joe and to Steve. My name is Jason Araj, and I'm the Director, Principal at Forward Legal. I've had over 15 years' experience in areas of acquisition, commercial agreements, and insolvency and bankruptcy. Our mission of Forward Legal has always been, first and foremost, to service the community. Never has this been a more important and prudent time than at the current time in where we suffer tremendously from this coronavirus and everybody is quite nervous. There is going to be a lot of uncertainty and vulnerability during this period, and we at Forward Legal are here to look after you. Both myself and my team are open and available to you all, and please feel free if you're experiencing any uncertainty in and around your legal environment, please call us at Forward Legal.
Jason, while I've got you on microphone, with your strong relationships and extensive legal expertise, both pillars make you an important expert in advising both individuals and corporations during the COVID-19 pandemic. My question to you is, the coronavirus pandemic has caused much disruption to employers and employees. What advice do you have for both these groups?
Thank you, Wally. There is going to be a lot of pressure on both employers and employees during this period. The marketplace, as you're aware, has changed tremendously in a very short period of time, which has ultimately created an incredible amount of uncertainty. What is certain, and what we do know at the moment, is that there is going to be a loss of jobs. There are a number of questions that need to be asked in and around this environment. If sick or a family member is sick with the coronavirus, what are their obligations and requirements? Is the government ordering self-quarantine? Do employees want to stay at home as a precaution, and are they entitled to? Can employers stand down employees without pay? And can employers let employees go without pay or on reduced pay? There are many questions that need to be answered in and around this difficult period of time, and I guess we at Forward Legal are here to assist you to navigate. But there are solutions to these problems, and we're here to provide those solutions. I guess from an employee perspective, your first go-to point would be your contract of employment. That sets out your parameters and will give clarity as to what your fundamental rights are under your contract. In respect of employers, I guess they should consider things like their enterprise agreements, their awards, employee-employer contracts, and workplace policies. There are other, I guess, means of which other regulations that are changing constantly with the law, and the government is constantly updating us with changes. And given that it is evolving regularly, it's hard to give advice prudently at any given time. But please reach out to us, give us a call, help us to help you.
Joe, question to you. Collaborate is one-stop shop. Helps with management consultancy, brand, strategic planning, digital planning, and even marketing. So Collaborate as an organization basically is there to solve issues, create value, maximize growth, and improve business performance. During COVID-19, tell us how Collaborate can help businesses.
That's a good question, Wally. The first thing that happened at Collaborate was, and I guess that's different than a lot of businesses, we got overwhelmed from our clients and potentially new clients and the Chamber's members, and they wanted to know, what do I do, how am I affected, and what can I do to reduce the impacts? So we at Collaborate have had to prioritise who we work with, I guess, first, and we're fortunate to be able to work remotely. So that also means that we're calling in our staff, so we are keeping working. We're also bringing in freelancers. We're checking on our suppliers to make sure that they're continuing to work remotely. And because that is part of our disruptive nature, and Collaborate is collaborative by nature, we've been very fortunate. So the technology we're using today is the same technology that we ask our clients to engage to communicate with their suppliers and shore up their supply chains. Also to market and communicate through PR to their clients what is happening, so those that have been shut down opposed to those that are still operating. And then for some businesses, because we've got quite a few customers in hairdressing, which is very confusing, beauty and massage, tattoo shops, etc., they've been shut down. What can I do? So for us, we are offering them strategic advice, and we are helping them execute their plans so that they can survive the coronavirus, their business can.
Steve, you've got 20 years of experience in banking, finance and business management in the private and corporate sector. That's wealth of knowledge. From a Banks and City Unity Bank, the main thing to focus on will be safety for all through reduction of cash usage, helping people, especially the elderly, to transition to electronic banking. Can you please tell us more about your measures?
Sure, thanks, Wally. Look, it's true that cash has been the standard form of currency for people to buy things and transact, and especially in Bankstown, if you walk down the street, a lot of the cafes will only accept cash, and that's something that is different to other suburbs. But I guess when we look at our member base, which is an older member base who are used to coming down to the branch and withdrawing cash to buy things, this is the perfect time for a transition and education, I guess, to electronic services. So the bank has recognised that, so we are educating and informing our members. Reduction of cash, it's a safety thing for the community, for our staff as well. When older members come in, we're transitioning them into use of debit cards, and on that basis the bank has, the senior management decided that they would provide more free excess transactions on debit cards, so they've added another 4, which means you can happily tap and do your shopping without having to be worried about fees. I mean, as a mutual bank, we're focused on making sure that our members get a better deal. It's not an institution there to make profit, so that is one way that we're putting in. I know that cash won't go away straight away, but I think this event is probably one of the things that will improve, I guess, going forward, if you want to put a positive spin on that.
If a customer is not a member or is not a customer of Banks and City Unity Bank, how they can approach the bank?
Well, we've still got a full set of staff on the books at the moment. Everybody's working hard. We're still doing writing new loans. We're dealing with opportunities that people are still looking at, and there's also current members that are transitioning. So as far as new members go, those that have got a concern or looking to improve their situation, we're still dealing with those opportunities for those people to help them. As far as existing members go, those that have any form of borrowing, whether that be a credit card, a home loan, an investment loan, a commercial loan, the bank has given every member the opportunity to defer their loan repayments by 6 months. There's no questions asked on that. We can do it for 3 months and see how they're situated, and if they need to, well, then we'll extend that period. And for those that aren't receiving rent on some of their rental properties, well, this is, I guess, a part fixed to that. That's effective immediately. So, the telephone number, the email, any form of contact that people want with the bank, we're available.
Joe, question to you. Access the entitlements under the stimulus package in coordination with Collaborate Accountant. Can you elaborate more?
So one of the things that our accounting team are doing is staying up to date with the news as it's being released and making sure that we're communicating it as best as we can. So we've seen at a state and federal level different responses as well, so we need to prepare those businesses. So for example, the rules around the start dates, the withholding for how many employees you have and whether you can keep them on, and then also you've got the instant write-off being increased from 30,000 to 150, etc. And making sure that, though, because there are winners and losers in this situation, I hope that, I think we all agree that some businesses, like the supermarkets, are doing very well. Construction is still working very well. We've got a solar business and they're still installing because they can operate as an essential business and maintain social distancing. So where there are winners and where there are losers, there's also making sure that there are some people in the middle. So if you've lost 80%, then that's shocking. What if you've lost 20%? If you've got trainees and the government's going to, or apprentices, the government's going to support 50% of those wages. When? Because our accountants, our bookkeepers, they're all working on a cash flow basis. They're talking with their banks, they're talking with their lawyers, they're making payment arrangements with their suppliers, with their tenants and their banks to try and work out, can I keep my staff on? And that is mathematical. And our accountants are doing that for each customised customer.
Jason, has there been any government changes which have eased the burden on businesses or companies? If so, can you explain these changes?
Thank you, Wally. Again, I think we need to understand that has been a lot of financial hardship to date, and there's going to be a lot more financial hardship that's going to be experienced. I don't think we're anywhere near the bottom of this this pandemic that we're experiencing. So we've got to be very mindful and very careful as to what's going on with the economy and in particularly what's going on with businesses. And to their credit, the government has been really on the front foot in assisting companies trying to navigate through this very difficult period, a period that is unprecedented and one that many of us have never experienced. So I think, to their credit, the government has gone on the front foot, and two initiatives that have been really, visionary in a way has been the first one, the minimum statutory requirement or limitation on which you can issue a demand on a company has risen from 5,000 to 20,000. I think that's going to alleviate a lot of pressure on organisations, particularly now with people taking off staff and finding it hard to meet rent payments and the uncertainty in and around whether they're going to get paid by creditors. So that's been great. Coupled with that and simultaneous with that has been the fact that instead of responding to a stat demand within 21 days, government's initiated a 6-month grace period. I think the 6-month period is very wise, given that all talk is that it's going to take at least that much time to overcome the pandemic. The second, and I think is even a more important change, has been that in and around for directors, where you are ordinarily a solvent trading company, the government has relaxed its laws around solvency to allow directors to trade their way around this difficult period. And if you are experiencing financial strain, there's going to be more relaxed laws around solvency for directors and personal guarantees that flow with that. So I think all in all, we should commend the government on this initiative, and I think companies should take faith and strength out of this position and utilise it and keep pushing forward to try and get us all out of this situation.
Thanks, Jason. I think that's really important what you're saying, and I do have a lot of respect for what the government is doing right now and the way that they're coordinating with each other. Something that I've had to deal with in my own business and something that my customers are also having to deal with in regards to, say, moving it up to $20,000 for statement of claims for people who aren't paying. Making sure we know what those dates are for when that started and whether it's actually related to COVID-19. And the other one is moving it from 21 days once the court's decided, and then the other one being 6 months. Our customers have been asking us, do I give payment terms? If I can't get paid, I'm keeping my staff on, and yes, I'm going to possibly get a withholding benefit at the end of April when I do my BAS, but should I keep my staff on, or do I move to payment terms? Can you answer that for me?
I think it's important to understand that the changes are great, but it's almost a band-aid solution. So if you haven't made any repayments in 6 months, the obligation to pay is going to arise yet again, and the stat demand will be issued, and then you've got to deal with that consequence. So if you are in a position to enter into payment arrangements, I think it's wise. It's probably a good way to manage cash flow as well. So don't leave it like any sort of business relationship or any form of relationship, communication is key. So the more you communicate with the other side, the better you will be.
Thank you. Just regarding payment arrangements and deferments, when we talk, just to clarify, when we talk about a payment deferment, you can have a holiday as such for 6 months. I guess what that means is that you don't have to make a payment for 6 months, but the interest on your loan still does accrue. And at the end of the 6 months, what happens? Does that mean you have to pay everything there and then? No. That means the interest that accrued over that period of time will then be factored over the remaining life of the loan, so that your repayment might go up a little bit, but it won't be a devastating effect there and then. So I guess, as you're saying, Jason, if you have the opportunity to do it and you want to plan ahead, if you've got a viable business and you think you can get through the next 6 months, which you should remain positive, then this is one lever to do that. Part of the other thing that the bank has introduced, Wally, is we know that we've got a lot of older members and investments are their form of income. Rates are low. The bank has now increased rates on term deposits for 6 and 12 months. So that's a little light in the tunnel there for them. And on the same token, on the flip side, all business loans, all commercial loans have been reduced by 0.2%, and lines of credit, overdrafts, apologies, have reduced by 0.4%. So I guess we're trying to touch every area of the bank so that we can have an impact all around, not just one sector.
I've got a question for you, Steve. If someone wishes to defer their home loan for 6 months, will this affect their credit file?
That's a great question. The answer is no, it won't. If you're transacting normal business and you see this opportunity to have a break, then there is an agreement there, and we state that. It's not there to penalise you so that when the time comes and you try to do something else, it's a penalty. It's definitely meant to help you through business.
Joe, if I can just lead to another question. Request for financial hardship, negotiating payment arrangement with customers and suppliers. How Collaborate can assist? Yeah.
So all of us that run a business are going to have your customers on one side and your suppliers on the other. And I think we were just talking about whether we can extend credit terms or whether we can extend wage terms or contractor terms. We've got graphic designers and they're still working through. So where we would normally pay them fortnightly, can we pay you monthly? But one of the other problems that we have ourselves as well is timing that cash flow difference. So I think if you come to Collaborate and you have your customer list and you have your supplier list and you want to try and maximise your payment terms, we will work through those contracts and what you're expecting from them. So whether it's ongoing work or whether it's historical work, whether it's a cost of good or it's an investment, for example, in technology or converting from a retail shop that you want to introduce, say, Instagram, be an ambassador, and then go to an e-commerce website. So that could be an investment. And we're also looking at ways that the banks also looking at extending finance to people who didn't have finance in place at the same time. Is that the case?
Thank you. Look, APRA is discussing with banks at the moment, and there will be something introduced shortly, but it hasn't been finalised, so I can talk around that subject, I guess. But they are looking at being able to lend businesses up to an amount of money, for example, $250,000. There are certain parameters around that so that it can pay for capital expenditure and other things to keep the operation going. I guess when we look at these requests from members or businesses to help them get through, the question to ask is, do they have a viable business now? And if the coronavirus wasn't here, would they continue to be viable? And so this is where these sorts of things that APRA want to introduce will help them through. If the coronavirus didn't come, would they survive? If the $250,000 loan wasn't there, would they still be viable? These are still credit questions that we have to answer. We've got to be responsible towards those members, because that wouldn't be a good situation to just approve something without doing proper credit assessment.
just the final, we're going to end the segment. So, but before we finish, Jason, do you have any final remarks and how our audience can connect with you, Joe, and Steve as well via Zoom?
In terms of final comments, I guess it's important, as we've discussed, and to use the name of your business, is to collaborate. I think we all, as whether we're employers, employees, landlords, tenants, creditors, debtors, we all need to communicate. We all need to understand that everybody's going to experience some financial hardship. There are going to be difficult times ahead. The road's not going to be smooth. So we've just got to have some patience, understanding, tolerance. I guess all good virtues, other than just business virtues. So we've just got to be sensible in the approach we adopt, because we all want to get through this. It's not a matter of stepping on top of anyone else or trying to come on top alone, because there's no virtue in that. But collaboration, I think, is the key to sustainable growth in the long term.
Thank you, Jason, Joe, and Steve. Once again, I'd like to thank our guest for this moment. We're going to break for a short break, and we come back with the second guest.
Are you really getting the most out of your NDIS funding? TLC Disability Services is a certified registered NDIS provider that provides quality care for people with a disability. The National Disability Insurance Scheme, often known as the NDIS, can provide eligible people with assisted living and growth. Did you know that an estimated $1.8 billion went unspent in NDIS funds this financial year? That's why at TLC, our staff will make sure your NDIS funding goes further by providing free advice and full support for people with a disability. With over 50 years of combined experience and over 100 dedicated staff, we can coordinate and develop full support packages that are tailored to your needs, such as domestic care assistance, group activities, plan management, accommodation services, transportation, and a lot more. Furthermore, we offer specific programs for our participants, such as day programs, specialist support coordination, allied health, shared living, travel training, and a lot more. At TLC, we offer a top range of high-quality support services that suits all of your needs and budget. So reach out to us and receive your free, no-obligation consultation. Tender loving care, hand in hand with you on your NDIS journey. Are you really getting... Are you really...
Like our message, the Canterbury Banks and Chamber of Commerce is also evolving, sharing the knowledge of digital, mentorship, and other elements that support business growth and prosperity, opening a window into how business can adapt to crisis, but also how to take these lessons into the future of their businesses. In today's climate, there's other elements for businesses to connect with. I'd like to introduce Davey and Tom, and if I may ask David to give us, in 30 seconds, more information about the role and your expertise, please.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is David Newman from Master Mentoring. My background is media, but also business mentor. So that's what we do, and I'm so glad to be here to join in this conversation with Wally and Tom today.
Thank you, Wally. My name is Tom Haramis. I'm the Managing Director here of the Creative Agency. We're a video production and marketing agency, and we're all about taking brands online and helping them create a presence.
Tom, well, I've got you there. Day Creative is about video production, social content, and consulting. In today's environment, what advice do you have for businesses to help them to diversify and learn about more the digital platform?
Well, how long do we have? But look, I think that what I do want to say is Wally, what do you do the first thing when you wake up in the morning?
Check Facebook.
How about you, Davey?
I'll have a coffee first, mate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll check my Facebook.
Great. Okay, so you can see there's a pattern right there. We're all jumping on our social devices to actually see what's going on in today's world with the crisis with the corona. So if you look at that and you say, well, that's where the current market is right now. Everyone is online, and I think that over the past few weeks, what stats have told us is, we're up at 76%. So that's some serious numbers there to play with. So, and I don't think that. I know we're in this current crisis, but I also think that for a lot of businesses, not to focus on the problem, but start looking at what you can do to better the solution. So I think that's where we can start really helping and coming together as a community. Really,
Look, we always need to think positive, and we always need to look at. Doesn't matter what problem we face in life, we always need to look the positive side. And we've learned today a lot of businesses, from cafes to restaurants, they just learn quickly to adopt from being customer-oriented focused service to delivery and takeaway. But it's important for them to share that message, to communicate the change of their business. So how video production or a small film or a 60-second pitch on a video, YouTube, can help them get the message across?
Well, look, the first thing is, I always believe it's all about people buy into your brand. People buy into what you do. And it's never about selling, but also, really creating that brand trust. And I think that, with these tough times, and there's a lot of local businesses that, like you said, are in the, restaurant business, hospitality, whatever that may be. But I think that what they can be doing, and my advice would be saying, well, hey, if you've got a mobile phone, start using it, and, get in the kitchen and show them that maybe you're doing things differently right now. Maybe it's, it's how, people are starting now to look at, from the minute you pick something up, you're passing something around. Everyone's been very sensitive around this issue that we're facing. So I think that if you can start showing how your business is changing with this current environment, then we're going to be more, into actually coming and approaching you, into buying a product from you, or whether it's a service. So I think that we're all just got to work together and start showing people what you're doing. And it comes down to brand consistency. The more content you put out there, the more of a thought leader you are, the more of a follower, whatever that is in that business. So I think that you really got to be driving your content from a not a sales point of view, but from a real an educational point, a value point, and what you can be doing in the business.
So in other words, from a strategic perspective, it's about the tools that we apply to communicate and showcase our brand.
Absolutely.
And in today's climate, I think the digital platform is the key in moving forward.
Absolutely.
Davey?
Can I say I actually agreed with Tom in regard to business, because we do a lot of business consultancy with a lot of multicultural communities. This coronavirus, the way we look at it, is actually creating opportunities, but also we're looking at it from a positive side. And the positive is that we have social media, and we also have a business like Tom, who are actually quite busy in this crisis at the moment. Now, a lot of business communities out there need to understand that we need to adapt to technology to evolve. Now, these coronavirus circumstances will actually increase awareness in terms of video production, in terms of social media and the platform. So the way I look at it, there's so many opportunities out there for business to diversify and be innovative in these circumstances at the moment, Wally.
Davey, we've all known you as a radio host and a reality TV and food shows as well. But I think but you now as a business mentor, can you elaborate more on?
As the business mentor side is something that I'll give back to our multicultural communities, and I've been doing that for the last 12 years. What I like to do is to be able to support our multi-communities to be able to set up their own business and be independent. Now, a lot of phone calls I received this week has been a lot of doom and gloom. A lot of people upset that their cafes are closed, they've been locked down. But then I talk to our clients and offer them another solution, an opportunity. You look at Amazon, for argument's sake. Amazon is a perfect platform where mothers and fathers can also have a side business, list a product up there. You look at eBay, another example of that. You look at share trading, CFD. These are the kind of opportunities and innovation and diversification that we talk to our clients. It's always good to be able to spread your eggs and not just have under one bucket, but have under 2 or 3 different buckets so that you can diversify your investment and your business opportunity as well.
Why are benefits What are the benefits of business mentoring in today's climate?
In today's climate, as we can see, the coronavirus is a perfect example that a lot of businesses are struggling at the moment. They can't cope, but the wise people out there have always used business mentoring for the last 2 or 3 years. It's a massive business industry, Wally, and it's all started from the USA. Now, a lot of people who are utilizing business mentoring, they are coping well because they are already prepared. They're actually prepared on how to deal with online business. Online business has been around for the last 10, 12 years. It's nothing new. But those who actually utilize expertise, we've got Collab here, we've got the banks, these people are mentors within the industry. So the way I look at it, if someone were to set up their business tomorrow, by reaching out to these business leaders today, you are avoiding the downfall and the mistakes that you would make without utilizing a business mentor.
Tom? Why today, more than ever, video marketing is needed?
Well, Wally, I can tell you, we're all online, and that's a fact. And if this current crisis that we're in right now is not telling us that this is where we're heading. I spoke at the Lafan Annual Property Building Summit last year, and I did tell the audience that if you don't start taking your business online, you are going to be left behind. And I'm not saying I'm a Nostradamus here, but the reality is, look where we are right now in this very predicament. Everyone is at home, everyone is working, and everyone needs to communicate. You need to be driving your business. So I think that the way forward is you really got to be going out there. You've got to be thinking about how can I actually now start creating content, and not in a sales point of view, but in a way where you can start adding value to somebody else, because everyone is now starting to look at everyone's business. We don't know how long we're going to be in this, solitude of confinement right now. But what we do know is that, whether we're stuck like this for 3 months or 6 months, that you can be still connecting with another business. And if another business is looking at you, they're going to be wanting to know, can I still do business with you? Or is your business actually going right to the negative and you can be folding up overnight? No one wants to know that. People want to know, what can you be doing to move forward in your business and saying, yes, we're still doing great. Well, these are the changes of what's going on in our business. So it gives your other, your supplier or someone who actually you want to transact the business with, it gives them an ease and a comfort, saying, you know what, I can see now you guys are actually the right company that I want to stick with. So I think that people need to start communicating a lot more. And wow, man, do we have so many tools around us to use? And you know what, Wally, it's free. Social is free. We're on Facebook. It's Instagram. It's all free. And this is where we can really help and come and just give you some good advice and how do you actually drive your business.
Can I also add to what Tom is saying, Wally, is that if New South Wales is going to go into a coma, all right, all business need to collaborate, need to work together so the business is still operating. We also need to work together to make sure that the workers are actually working. Otherwise, the whole New South Wales will go backward. And I think by us being here today, we are voicing and supporting our local business, and that we need to collaborate, we need to work together, and also we need to reach out to the chamber, because within the chamber we have a lot of people in this community who have a lot of expertise that can reach out and support and help those business people out there as well.
Actually, Davey, in support to your comment as well, I mean, our Prime Minister is leading the way, and I'm not here to preach for political parties, but the reality is our Prime Minister has showed the way. He's taken a steady and firm conviction, and obviously he's got a good team, and the premiers and territory leaders working together as a team. And I think we as Australian, we have showed the way about steering the ship in the right direction, and we as Australian, we can only stand and salute and work in cooperation and work in conjunction and apply respect across the board and listen to the advice that our health team is giving, and our police as well is doing.
Because they are, like, if you're talking about the police, they are the unsung heroes. The doctors and nurses, they are our unsung heroes. The government's doing such a great thing as well at the moment to support New South Wales. So I guess to our audience out there, please support our police, support our government. They are doing a wonderful job. But the message we want to get out there today is that, please, business people, we need to collaborate, we need to work to make sure that the economy gets back on track.
Just final question. There's always that typical question: has your business conducted a health check? So, from a business mentor, what is the easiest way for an operator to apply SWOT analysis, for instance?
See, the coronavirus is a perfect example that will show us what businesses have actually applied the SWOT analysis and what business haven't. Now, the one that have actually applied to the SWOT analysis, they would be in a fairly comfortable situation now. And I touch base on innovation and opportunities. Now, business who actually utilize the SWOT analysis, they will already be diversifying in other areas and not just focusing on one particular product or service. A lot of business out there now are looking at taking the business online. Instead of having your product and service face to face, at the moment, we aren't doing that. But if you've applied the SWOT analysis, or if our audience out there have actually utilized a business mentor, they would realize that they can also expand their target audience by utilizing the social media and online platform, what Tom was discussing further during our conversation, Wally.
Tom, from a digital perspective, what advice do you give the business when they are working on their SWOT analysis?
Well, can I just jump back?
Please.
Because I have a couple of things that I just wanted to say. That with this current condition that we're in right now, let's not exploit this time and try to leverage this of going buying toilet paper or sanitizers, then taking it on eBay, then trying to do your markups. That's not entrepreneurship. You know, it's not about business. It's about really coming together as a community and coming together. Now, if you look at this, you've got two kind of I see it kind of two kind of platforms. You've got an offline world and an online world, right? Now, in this current time that you need to be online, when we come out of this, think about this. You're going to be driving your business. You're going to be moving forward. You're going to be, connecting with a lot more people that you never connected with before in the online world, and start creating relationships. And then when we come out of this crisis, then you've got your offline world where you go to your networking events. You go actually go to all these places. So now you're in a parallel world where now you actually got the best of both worlds. So look at this as a positive in your business and how you can go about doing that. And so to tap on this very last question you're asking, what kind of SWOT analysis you'd be doing, I'd be really looking internally what you could be doing and breaking that down and saying, okay, well, with the SWOT analysis, what are our strengths? What are the opportunities? How do we go out and how do we start leveraging? And I really believe it comes down to relationships, communication, and really being authentic with everything that you do. So come down to really doing your own diagnosis in your business. And if you've got a problem, it's okay. You can get through it. You just got to have the right pillar of support, the right people around you.
Well, in support of what you're saying, we as a chamber team, we are here to support. We are here to help. We are here to answer any inquiry you have. And look, we can guide your inquiry to the right people. We don't claim to be the expert, but at least we are a platform to communicate, to facilitate, and to showcase. Today is a good example about how we are helping our members and community at large, because at the end of the day, it's about us working together, supporting each other, providing shoulder to lean on, and let's all cross that bridge because there's a light at the end of the tunnel. You can connect with all our speakers today. We are moving our events online through Zoom. Thanks all those who have booked through the Eventbrite link, and I think we've got close to 100 business already booked. So this is our first experience, but we want to be able to build on this platform, the online platform, because this is the direction for the Canterbury Banks and Chamber of Commerce. So please connect with us and let's stay in touch. My phone number is available. My email is available for you for any inquiry. And once again, I'd like to thank all our speakers, and because for their volunteering their time, dedicating their effort, because for a simple reason, and that is it's all about you. And this is what friendship is all about.
Can I also add to that, Wally? I had a phone call this morning and someone was saying that the toilet paper is the new Bitcoin of 2020. Can I disagree with you guys there? And that is not the case. So you need to look after each other and back off on those bloody shopping spree with toilet paper. Please relax, look after each other and stay safe.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you, Davey.